SMQBs episode 128. We are on our way to tattoos number 2. Almost getting there very quickly. I know Patrick Milk is excited for that. All right, guys. Rooster from Richmond, what's your number of the week?
0.23.
What's that?
The blood alcohol concentration that one is going to have to reach in order to secure the first pick in our upcoming fantasy football league draft. This week.
Boy. Boy.
Why don't you keep that confidential, all right?
I don't know what draft he was talking about.
It's hard to know what draft about.
Yeah.
What do you mean, man?
He's talking about his country club draft.
Yeah, I have a confession to make, guys. I thought it was so funny. I told Laura about it.
Oh no.
It was the dumbest thing I've done in a very long time.
Sorry,
I'm sorry. I deserve it.
It's not our league.
I deserve a demerit for that.
This is not an SMQBs league, just for
I
the
have
record.
no idea.
There's apparently
no idea.
Roosters
No
affiliated with. Hal from Philly, change the subject.
Well, I'm gonna add some extra digits. 20.3. 20.3 and 5. At 20.3 is the miles per hour Tajay Spears reached in just 5 seconds in the Titans' first touchdown over the Vikings. There is your fantasy advice for the week.
Wow.
He plays behind Derrick Henry, though.
All right, the artist formerly known as Milk, who now goes by M!LK. Milk.
Football.
From
Milky
Tampa.
football.
I'm going with 5 days until the start of college football. I can't wait. Notre Dame Navy from Rooster.
South Bend.
From where? No, from Ireland.
Oh, from Ireland. Sorry.
It's in Ireland. It's in Ireland. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I know someone who's going to that game.
Where's the game being played?
I don't know.
I guess Croker Park, right?
Yeah.
Is it in Dublin?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Croker Park. All right. And this is Bison from DC. And my number is 24. That's the number of preseason games the Ravens have won in a row, and that streak is coming to an end tonight when they run into the Commanders. That's it. That streak is over.
We're guaranteeing preseason wins now. This is
exciting.
Right. Commanders are really moving in the right direction.
Hey,
holy shit!
Better than predicting. It's better than predicting losses. So,
that's a shocking number of preseason wins.
Shocking,
guys. I want to go off script with a mailbag request. If you didn't see yesterday this story from the Orioles, I want to survey you guys. I think I know the answer for all of you. Gunnar Henderson, this really great young kid on the Orioles, had hit a double, a triple, and a home run against the A's. They're winning 10-1. I guess it's the 8th or 9th inning. 8th inning. And he comes up and he laces one down the first base line, and he easily could have stopped at first and gotten his cycle, and he didn't. And he ran to second, and all the guys in the Orioles dugout were waving him, go back to first, go back to first, get your single. So question number 1 is, what would you guys have done? And question number 2 is, what is the percentage of Major League Baseball players that would have stopped at first for the cycle?
I would 100% have stopped at first. I'm as selfish as it gets, though.
I would.
Why would you not? You have this. I mean, how many times are you going to hit for the cycle in your career?
I would 100% have gone for 2. If Earl Weaver had been the manager and he stopped at first base, he probably would have been yanked from the game.
By the way, wasn't it like 7-0 at that point?
10-1. It was 10-1.
10-1. Okay, it's 10-1. The guy.
I'm trying to figure out. He's fast. Why wasn't he trying to leg out a triple? That's what I want to understand, because I'm definitely trying to get the third on that at that point. So.
Yeah, I don't know any other way but to play to win. I'm going. Milk, you're the only loser on here. That said, I think I'm going to say 75% of the Major League Baseball are losers and would have stopped at first.
Yes, I agree. I think you're right.
With that too.
I totally would have. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Billy
I-
Martin
Especially
would have
if it
fought
was
him
a
in the
tie
dugout.
game, I would go for a double at 10-1. Come on, half these teams put in infielders to throw 50-mile-an-hour pitches to these batters. Why not?
All
well,
right, thanks.
listen, we thought the Nats had it wrapped up at 4-0 last night of the ninth inning against the Phillies, and that got a little dicey. So you
Still
never
put up
know.
with.
You never know. All right, guys. Well, we got to do the fantasy talk this week. And I'm going to go on mute now because I know nothing about fantasy football, as Milk likes to remind me. Even though
Oh, wait. I thought you made the semifinals last year.
I was
You
going to say I think I
really-
came in ahead of you. I think I was ahead of you last year,
No,
but
you're talking a
whatever.
big game.
I'll just sit here and be quiet and let you guys talk about fantasy football.
So,
Al, why don't you take it on?
We're missing Pope from Dallas. He
I'm
does
sorry.
not have
Let me mute myself because I have nothing to add.
he does not have a championship in our league. Bison does not have one, but the rest of these, the conversation should happen between the inaugural winner, Milk, last year's winner, Rooster, and this year's winner, yours truly. So I just want to ask you guys, like, what is it? Why is it that basically from age pretty much like, I don't know, 7 or 8 now till 78, that everybody in America wants to play fantasy football? I've been trying to wrap my arms around the different reasons why. Why do you think it is so like just everywhere that everyone plays it? Millions, billions.
Well, so you say everywhere. I since Pope's not here, I did a little looking into some stats, and there are actually 20 million people in India last year who played fantasy football.
Wow.
It's amazing.
I think
What?
one thing that the league,
He knows about this.
No, I can answer these questions. I'm not giving advice. So I'm just going to listen to you champions with your fucking advice today.
I should have worn my rings. Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it. I'm getting one. Damn it.
So I think that the league lends itself well to fantasy because generally speaking, all the action's happening at one time, right?
Right.
So for the most part, most games are Sundays, with a couple exceptions, which can also make things fun. But for the most part, everybody's like, it's football Sunday and you're locked into what's going on and you're watching multiple games. I think that's one part of it. It's an easy shared experience because of when it's happening.
It's the most popular of the 4 major sports and the most manageable for fantasy leagues of the 4 major sports. So that really helps. And then the NFL is helping by, coming out with the red zone and the NFL network and everything else so that you can actually, jump back and forth and see scoring all day long. So I think the NFL helps a ton. But my theory is, and this may just be me, but we've come off a couple of really tough years of isolation because of COVID, and at least for the older crowd, technology has not made our lives easier. It's made it worse. It's much more stressful because we have to be available to everyone 24/7. And I just think the social aspect of this is wonderful, and people love it. There's nothing better than getting together with your buddies and doing a league like this. I think it's a lot of fun. I look forward to it every year. I mean, our league, we've turned it into a trip, a road trip where we go and spend 3 days together, having fun and doing a live draft together. I think the social aspect can't be overlooked.
And you definitely can't beat the social aspect of hanging out with 7th graders at Kennedy Junior High School doing mock drafts.
There's a Rooster is probably on mock
Milky
draft
football
number
just made it funny.
mock draft number 29 by this podcast, so we're going to get a lot of information from him today.
Yeah.
My theory is a few things. One is we still have a lot of pathetically unathletic people in this country who love to live vicariously any chance they get. And what could be a better vicarious experience than saying that you could be the armchair quarterback and be the general manager of a football team put together? I think that's part of it. I think a second is we're living in a reality TV culture all the time. And this puts you somewhat real. Like you have players, they belong to you, they're scoring points for you, you're talking to people about it. It's almost like you're part of the experience. And the last thing is, I think that there's a lot of people that we talked last week about, or I guess it was last week, about gambling. There's a lot of people who would love to gamble but are too scared to gamble. This is like safe gambling in a way. You're tracking the points. By the way, I think it's also a gateway for young kids to eventually get into gambling by starting out with fantasy football. But you can do these programs, ESPN, CBS Sports. It's all free, and you're kind of gambling on the outcome. And I think it's part of the gambling culture as well.
What do you think about the like lack of loyalty? I feel like people have less of a commitment to their team, to a team, and fantasy and the red zone and those sorts of things lets them bounce back and forth between teams and games and not really be interested in a team, but still be interested in the sport. What do you think about that?
It's a great one because I mean, if you have a shitty team and you don't have much to follow, like what could be better than having a winning fantasy team, right, Milk?
This is the only thing I'm relying on this year is fantasy football.
Right.
It ain't going to be the Bucks. So, yeah.
When fantasy
Absolutely.
football first came out, I resisted it for that reason. I thought, you're not going to sit down and watch a whole game ever again and follow your own team. But it actually got me back into football in a way that I hadn't been in a while. I'd kind of, with kids and everything, I'd stopped watching like I used to, and I still root for my team, but I really enjoy the whole aspect of it. It's really gotten me more into it.
I mean, 100 out of 100 times, I'm going to watch a Commanders game over some game of a player that I have on my fantasy team.
Yeah, right.
But I don't think that's the case for everybody, though.
No,
you just leave your computer open and follow your score.
Yeah. I've never had it interfere with me like watching a Bucks game
or
loyalty
game
or like a Tom Brady modeling episode or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of loyalty, how much does it factor into your drafting in fantasy football to not draft players from a hated team? Because I will do anything possible not to draft a Cowboy. Anything. I don't care if they're the best player at the position. I can't do it. I can't.
That's crazy.
It's true.
I intentionally didn't draft any of my own team this year. So it was the opposite.
But let's be fair. I mean, who really would you draft from your team? I mean, come on. That's probably just sound draft advice in general. Don't draft any Bucks this year.
I would draft Godwin, maybe Evans.
Yeah, but who's throwing the ball to them?
It's time to bake, baby.
Say it.
It's time to bake.
He's not even been named the starter yet, has he?
He's going to be the starter. We all know it. Yeah, no, I think you should I mean, come on, House. Who won you this fantasy Super Bowl last year? And which team did you not like last year? Maybe it's not to the level of the Cowboys.
Well, I guess Jerick McKinnon was one of those who won me the fantasy.
I'm pretty sure Mike Evans got you into the Super Bowl with
Mike Evans was key. Mike Evans was key.
And it made you root for Tom Brady and
not really.
Never not do that.
So I think one of the outgrowths of fantasy football that's very, very fun, that we have a really good time with, and that all these leagues are now making kind of urban legend, is the punishment for the loser. Because if you're going halfway through the season and your team sucks, your fantasy football team sucks, like you can't just mail it in. You've got to keep the league competitive. And the best deterrent for doing that is coming up with the loser penalty. So for example, in our league last year, the loser, sorry, Andy Darcy, D Money, the loser.
That was Toby who's just so we're comfortable with who everyone is here. That's
I'm
how.
just reading the script that
Definitely
Pope
not
wrote.
me.
I am just
That
reading the
was not
script that
me.
Pope wrote for this episode. So the loser had to go to the mall during Christmas season, and as an adult male wearing your most hated team's jersey, sit on Santa's lap and take a picture on Santa's lap, which Darcy, a Giants fan, donned an Eagles jersey, sat on Santa's lap, and smiled for the camera. It had to be his social media profile picture for 30 days. And he may or may not have to wear a shirt that reminds him of the pain at the upcoming draft. That was a good loser penalty.
Yep.
What
Interesting.
have you guys?
Interesting.
What's the loser penalty in yours, Milk? In your
Yeah,
We don't-
Milk, you
home
should.
league?
We actually don't have anything like this.
Lucky.
It's-
Oh, that's fortunate for you.
I know. We have not gone that route, and I brought it up this year, so it's under consideration.
There are
Nothing-
there's some great suggestions. Like a vanity license plate, fantasy loser, shaving off your eyebrows, growing out a mullet,
Waffle House.
the Waffle House where you have to sit in the Waffle House and eat waffles for 24 hours, and for every waffle you complete, you can reduce an hour. It's debatable whether or not somebody in our league waffled on that waffle bet.
No.
yeah.
You can't put the loser penalty in with 4 games to go and think it's going to apply.
So there's that lure, and then forcing people to take the SAT or the LSAT.
That's funny. That's funny.
There's one this year which I particularly like for older kind of men's leagues that forces the loser to participate in all the activities from the NFL Combine, including the Wonderlic test, and have them go on video that everybody can publish the video of them doing the 40 and the high jump. Like, can we please see Rooster do the high jump from the NFL Combine?
My Achilles would snap in midair.
I'd be so scared doing the Wonderlic test. God, what if I did that on it?
It's
So
just so
embarrassing.
great.
It's we are of an age where it's getting a little harder to do some of the really creative things, like some of the kids these days. I mean, House, I'm pretty sure I saw one video from one of your kids that was just brutal, wasn't it? I mean, head shaved and all. I mean,
the winner was allowed to give the loser whatever haircut they wanted. So they basically shaved his head, leaving only like hair in certain places. The year before, it was really bad. The year before, they forced the loser to go into a tanning bed until they could make them as dark as possible.
Oh, I like that.
oh
the
my
The
god,
kid wasn't allowed in school because it was considered going a little too far with darkening of the skin. It was really bad. And then
oh my god.
I'll have melanoma in 20
Did
years.
somebody sign him up for a claim against the tanning booth bed too?
and then there was another one where the loser had to face the other people in the league could buy any ingredient they wanted at the supermarket and put the guy in like a big bin and just pour one ingredient after another. There were like mealworms, there was like a live fish, there was flour, there was all this stuff, and then the person had to parade past a bar with all that stuff coated all over them. I like that one.
Oh my god.
My God. Oh my God.
But we got a nomination that was really good to for the loser to have to wear a red polo and go for a 6-hour shift at the Target with a name tag that only says in training, and take a picture with every single person that comes up to you and asks you a question in case like you work at the Target, saying, no, I don't work at the Target. I'm only here because I suck at fantasy football. Good one.
Oh god.
So there's still time for our listeners to get in loser penalty. We would love to hear creative ones. We could use one for our league this year.
Yes.
Have we settled on one for this year?
Not
No.
yet.
No, we have to have a vote.
Yeah, we only have 2 days.
Can we
Well,
talk about one of the
We might have
worst?
to decide there.
Can we talk about one of the worst fantasy teams drafted of all time?
Milky football.
Milks from this weekend.
Do you have it in front of you, Milk?
I do have it in front of me. God, is it that bad?
Walk us through what the F you were thinking.
I
Yeah,
actually
what-
think it's not as bad as we thought at first.
So I
blush.
had the 5th pick of the draft. It's a PPR league, 12 teams. I will say this. This is the first year, honestly, since I can remember, that a wide receiver went number 1. So that's interesting. Justin Jefferson went 1. So it got down to I had McCaffrey went, Jefferson went, Kelsey actually went
Chase.
crazy before me with like at 4, which I thought was a terrible pick. But it came down to Chase or Tyreek for me, and I panicked. I got scared of the Joe Burrow injury, and I took Tyreek.
I like
And
it.
I think
That one I like.
He-
That's a good
Tyreek's
pick.
gonna have he's gonna have 2,000 yards this year. He said.
You
but
promised.
I think the Joe Burrow injury is kind of they're making a big more. I don't think I think he's going to be back week 1, right?
That's what they're saying now, but who knows what his cat? Those calf injuries get tweaked all the time.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And then I really the worst pick I had was in the 2nd round because I took a Washington Commander. And
No
I
way.
can't believe I did that. Looking back, just
Who'd you
horrific
take?
decision. Oh, you know who I
Scary
took.
Terry.
Who would be the only person worthy of a 2nd round pick? It's-
Probably
maybe
John.
there's maybe there's
John
no
Dodson.
one worthy. What?
You took Terry.
Yes.
In the
Terry's a-
2nd round?
Terry's a great wide receiver, but in the 2nd round,
Sam
that was-
Howell is throwing the ball.
Oh no,
to
no, excuse me. You know what? Never mind. Sorry. I take that back. I
Oh,
took
he was really wasted.
St. Brown. You took St. Brown.
I took St. Brown in the 2nd round. That's so never mind.
I
did
don't know
take
that
him-
that's any. I don't know that's any better.
really.
He had
He's
a great
okay.
year.
I like it. He had a good
I-
year last year.
It's a PPR league.
And
Yeah.
Goff had a better year
Look,
than
I think my first few rounds were okay. Then things went. I ended up taking Daniel Jones. Okay, so let's just talk.
in
about
what round? In what round?
Does it matter?
Yeah, because I think it's a good pick. What round
I'm
was it?
shocked. I'm shocked you think it's a good pick. I don't know what happened there. Blacked out. I've got
What-
Seattle
seriously,
running.
What
did you
round?
take
What
Danny-
round?
round?
Danny Dollars.
I think I took him in like this. You know me. I don't take quarterbacks until the 8th or 9th round. I think it was like 8th or 9th.
That's
Oh,
a
that's not
steal.
bad,
That's
then.
a steal. He's going to be this year's Jalen Hurts.
Oh, my God.
Oh my
What?
God.
Did you just
Okay,
say
so now
that?
we have 2 people drunk on the show.
Definitely better than Justin Fields this year.
Wow. And Justin
Wow.
Fields went in like the 4th or 5th round.
All right, wait. I got a question though. Milk. I'd love to keep bagging on your shitty
Yeah.
draft, but I have a feeling I'm going to see another one later this week. But
Yeah, easy.
somebody explain PPR versus non PPR and what the benefit, what everybody likes, and then tell me what our league is because I don't have any idea.
Well, it's just a point per reception. So some people, a fantasy football purist would probably say it's bullshit because you're getting a point every time they catch the ball, even if they lose
Stupid.
yardage.
If they get a half a
Um,
yard, you still get a point.
Yeah, you get a point. That's our league is not a PPR league, correct?
Correct. It's
You got to
standard.
have yards. You got to have
It's
yards.
a real general managers league. Like you
Right.
really
Right.
got to know the players and select them, not just get these like it's PPR league is like playing cards with the Joker in the game. That's what PPR league is.
What about
No,
what about an auction draft? I sort of think we should go to an auction draft.
You've been pushing this for 5 years. You don't even know what it is.
No,
You
I
don't even
do.
know what a standard draft is. How can we do an auction?
Auction draft.
So you are going to put 12 guys in a room with copious amounts of spirits, and you're going to ask them to run a calculator and somehow figure out that they've drafted the players under a certain cap. Is that what you're suggesting?
There's got to be an app for that, right? I mean, listen, it's not like we haven't had our hiccups in our regular old draft as it's gone the last couple
I
of
love
years.
that Nace doesn't know what a PPR league is, but he wants to do an auction draft.
Wait, Rooster, don't you have a draft that's don't you have one that has keepers?
I'm in a league that I hate. It's got keepers. You get one keeper, and it's TD only.
That's
is that with the junior high kids?
It's no fun. No. That would be Wander. I'm in Wanderers League.
Oh,
God.
Oh no.
oh.
Inappropriate.
Well,
Oh my God.
All right.
So-
Well, look, so somebody give me some strategy here, okay, guys? You know, look, you're the champions.
He's
all three
begging.
Of you.
He's begging. He's
Just,
begging.
no, don't do it for me. Do it for our listeners.
Well,
Tell our
I'll tell you
listeners
this.
out there. Everyone's getting close to their draft. It's coming up. It's getting exciting. Guys, you're champions, all of you. Give some advice.
I will say this.
Hold on, I need a pencil.
If you look at the running backs this year, I mean, top heavy, and then it's all shit. I didn't draft running back till the third round. And I mean, unless you're going to get McCaffrey, does anyone have faith in Austin Eckler?
no.
I just can't imagine that, right?
I think Nick Chubb is solid every year.
There's like a handful of dudes, maybe 3.
Joe Mixon. I think Saquon will have a good year.
I still think
You're
Josh
right.
Jacobs is worth it.
Well,
Josh Jacobs?
Josh Jacobs is going to play game 1.
I think he's totally overrated.
So here's the thing. Some fantasy advice to everyone, to Milk's point. So I don't need to tell anybody listening to this podcast, because you're all sports aficionados, if you're listening, that it's a passing league and wide receivers are where it's at. And as it relates to running backs, so here's your tip. If it's not a back that mainly gets the carries, just forget it. If you've got a backfield that's running back by committee, you're going to have a lot of weeks where you're really disappointed. Perfect example. Do not take a running back from the Philadelphia Eagles this year.
Right?
They're going to go between Kenneth Gainwell. They're going to go with DeAndre Swift. They're going to go with Boston Scott. They're going to go with Rashad Penny. Who knows? Now, one week, one of them could go off and give you a 24, but you could starve the other weeks. If you're thinking about a shared backfield, forget it. For example, the Jets have really nice running backs. I wouldn't touch the Jets backfield now.
Well, and the
Yeah.
Dolphins too. Dolphins are the same.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
But that's, I mean, the idea of not taking running backs until the third round, I mean, it's been a passing league for a long time, and that's not been a strategy. I mean, Milk, you just said this was the first time you can remember seeing a receiver go 1. So, I mean, it's been a passing league, but you're suggesting that this year is going to be the year where there's a run on wide receivers and tight ends right at the beginning?
I think so. Now, keep in mind, my league was a PPR league, so there is a different strategy somewhat, but even in it, that strategy gap has shortened. Like that used to be huge. Now there's like no difference. It's such a pass heavy league, whether it's PPR, not PPR, like wide receivers are still massive commodities. Tight
So,
ends.
Advice point number 2. This is, again, going pretty much against anything that Milk thinks. That's part of your advice. For Milk won the first year, kind of on luck, and he's never
3-time Super Bowl participant.
He's never repeated as champion. Why? Because he undervalues the role of a quarterback in fantasy football. And
Nope.
he doesn't take him till the 7th, 8th round, and he gets somebody like Derek Carr and thinks he can go somewhere with that. We are also in a league where Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, maybe even now, he's going to say Danny Dimes. maybe even now Justin Fields, you can ride these guys to 20, 25 points a week and make yourself at least a playoff contender. And then who knows? You got to work the waiver wire. But if you can get one of those, I think they are definitely top 2-round quarterbacks.
Wow.
Obviously, I disagree. I
Wow.
got Danny Dimes in the 9th round
And you'll be in 9th place.
this weekend. Derek Carr went in the 12th round. So
He should.
He's shit.
is he?
Shit.
Yes.
Derek, look, Danny Dimes, I had him at the end of the year last year because I think I had Herbert and he was hurt. He scored like 45 points one game late in the season for me because he scored 2 touchdowns running and threw 2, I think, in that game.
So if you're part of our league, what I'm hearing is that Rooster saying that Daniel Jones should be the first pick in our league.
No, I'm saying he deserves to be picked somewhere either right around the same time people are picking Justin Fields.
So the 4th or 5th round.
So I'd like to see people in our league take him with the 4th or 5th pick.
Nash, you should focus on Kirk Cousins. I would take him early.
I gave that one to you. I gave that one to you, Milk, as a sleeper, and you probably almost fell for it when you were drunk. But listen, another thing is in your
Cousins scores
draft,
points though.
take them, please.
Take him, please.
Take my cousin, please.
I haven't finished quarterback yet.
I think Lawrence is going to have a breakout year this year
He could.
for the Jags.
What if you? The point though is, go ahead and take Trevor Lawrence in the 4th round. You could have gotten him in the 7th.
Not among smart general managers. If there's a bunch of Milks in your league, you can get him in the 7th.
When did you take
Okay.
Jalen Hurts last year, House?
I think I took him 2nd or 3rd round. Rode him to a Super Bowl, just like the Eagles did.
All right, let me ask you this. Can we get consensus on the number 1 pick this year? Who should be the number 1 pick?
Well, I'm not sure that we can get consensus.
Jefferson went 1 in my league Saturday.
Who did Jefferson? Yeah, Jefferson seems
Yes.
to be the hot number 1. The other 2 that I'm hearing about a lot are McCaffrey and Mahomes.
You're not hearing about those. You're seeing them in your mock drafts. Let's be honest. Come on.
So-
Mahomes?
There are still people out there, and we have them in our league, who take a quarterback with their first pick, no matter
I
what.
remember somebody
that's
last year
fine.
took Mahomes with their first pick.
By the way, okay, that's fine. So you're going to take Mahomes in the as a
I'm
top
not.
6 pick. But
I'm
if
not,
you
no.
someone decides to do that, what are you going to be left with wide receiver wise or running back wise when it comes back to you?
Not much,
All-
especially especially for running backs.
Let me offer you guys Bleacher Report's top 12. And if you want to scream and shout about how absurd any of these are, let me know. The number 1.
You say Dak fucking Prescott. I swear to God, I'm ending the Zoom.
There are a couple on here that I think are ridiculous, but number 1 is Justin Jefferson. Okay, so that might just be consensus. How about this, fellas? Number 2, Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't see that at all.
Not with that injury, no way.
No.
Okay, by the way, this is PPR. This is PPR.
Okay.
Number 3, Christian McCaffrey.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I
Number
like-
4,
he's major part of their offense.
number
Yeah.
4, Jamar Chase.
Yep, that's good.
Perfect. That's good.
Okay, all right, we're all okay with that. Number 5, 2,000-yard receiver Tyreek Hill.
That's where I got him. 5.
I'm just really surprised. I mean, those guys, he's not super young, right? And if his whole game is speed, I mean, if he loses a step, I don't know. I just have a
Too
hard
many
time with
receivers.
that.
There's too many receivers in that. Too many
Don't
great
s-
receivers in that offense for
Don't
him to get
say that,
2,000
Nick.
yards. Number 6, Austin Eckler.
No,
Nah.
don't trust him.
All right. Well, here's some people that you can take above him. Would you take Travis Kelce above him?
Yes,
How about would you?
because they have a really weak wide receiving core.
But they use Eckler like extensively. They use him out of the backfield. They use him. I mean, he's everything for that offense. So he gets a ton of points.
Would you take Bijan Robinson at number 8 or above Eckler?
I mean, he was the question of this weekend. Where would he go? I think he went 8th.
He's going to
something like
Canton,
that.
right? I mean, everybody, if you listen to
Ridiculous.
people, they're putting him in Canton already, aren't they?
Absolutely ridiculous.
He's clearly got more talent than Eckler.
He's massive risk reward. And you can't lose sight of the fact that it's the Falcons and what's his name is the quarterback.
Desmond Ritter?
Ritter, and Kyle Pitts is hurt, maybe.
And he's sharing a backfield a little bit with a guy who I think got 1,000 yards
Tyler
outlier.
Algier. Yeah.
So
But he could go off, dude.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
who
Go
else you got, House?
I would take Nick Chubb over both of those guys.
Okay, Chubb's at 11 on Bleacher Report. Number 9 would be Stephon Diggs.
I love Diggs.
Yeah, he's good.
Diggs is good. How about this guy? I'd like to hear what Rooster has about this number 10 on Bleacher Report. This guy named Saquon Barkley.
I think he's having a big year this year.
Of course. Okay.
No, I mean, seriously, he wants a big contract from someone.
Is he happy?
Next year.
Is he happy?
He's angry. He's healthy and he's angry.
Is he happy? Is he angry at the owner?
He wants to perform at a level that somebody pays him $16 million next year. He's only making 10.
Okay.
Okay, number 11 was Nick Chubb. It's a good one. And I'm going to ask that our crack producers set up the laugh track for number 12. So that
Tony
everyone,
Pollard.
worse, CD Lamb.
Ugh. I had him last year. It took him half the season to figure out how to catch a ball.
It's ridiculous.
Well, what about where do you think Devontae Adams falls these days?
Well, they've got him at 14, right at the beginning of the second.
Top 15, right?
Look,
So what do you guys like? Do you guys like having the number 1 pick in a snake draft? Do you like the 1 pick or something down later?
I don't think you ever shy from the 1 pick.
Oh,
If you get the 1 pick, cherish
There's
it.
a lot of
embrace it,
pressure.
Take it.
It's not just pressure, but Bison has had it happen to him. Other people, it seems every year
Injury.
the 1 pick gets injured. Every year.
Every year.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor.
McCaffrey.
He's someone we
Dalvin
haven't talked
Cook.
about, by the way.
Dalvin
Jonathan
Cook.
Taylor.
They've got
I
him
thi-
down here at 21.
I think that's the question of the draft. What do you do with Jonathan Taylor? Where do you take him?
Now that's a healthy, angry guy.
Well, the
Yeah.
problem is the owner hates him.
We also haven't talked about Derrick Henry. Where do you take him? Because he's not catching the ball.
I think I still think Derrick Henry's first round material.
Yep.
Later, but I mean, Nace would take Kamara over him, but I still think he's solid.
Well, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun year. We hope our fans will definitely check in with us during the year. Let us know how their teams are doing. Check back with us for advice on the waiver wire. We'll definitely help you out on the waiver wire this year. And good luck to all you guys. No one has yet repeated in our league. That's my goal. Be
Mine
the first
too.
to repeat.
I want to be the first.
Milk's tried to be
Alright.
first several times. Just fell a little bit short.
Let's do it. Who will
All
it be
right.
this year?
Shout out
Who's
to
got a-
Zach. The poor guy retired before he could do it. And you know that was the most important thing in the world to him, was to be the first to repeat.
It's the first league retirement I've been part of in a long time.
You sack.
I know, it's sad.
Yes.
It makes Pope the oldest guy in the league now.
He went out on his own terms.
All right.
You
Who's got a
wish.
punchable face?
I do.
It's
Do you
time
guys-
for that, right? It is time
Yeah.
for the punch, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I've
Don't be
been seeing this.
bashful.
I've been seeing this video of this guy. Congrats to the women's soccer team from Spain for winning the Women's World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
But this was marred by the president of Spain Football Federation is a guy named Luis Rubiales. And the first thing that he did at the end of the game when he was beating England was to like show off that they were winning and saying like, screw you to everybody. Look, we won. This is, remember, women's soccer is being played on the field in World Cup. The first thing that he does is, this is the president of women, the president of all of Spain Football Federation, grabs his crotch. Like, who was it? Was it Baker who did that? The Baker Mayfield style, like
Baker
grabs,
Mayfield, yeah.
yeah, he grabs his crotch and like, yeah, take this. And then when one of the stars comes up to receive her medal, Jenny Hermoso, he kisses her on the lips.
he touches, he like puts both of his hands on her face and kisses her
What?
right on the lips.
And everybody was like, what is this guy doing?
What just
He
happened?
wasn't even drunk. He did this in a sober state.
She said she did not enjoy that. And later worried that she was going to be kicked off the team and not given the money. She said it was a mutual gesture, but the guy is going to be punched in the face. I mean, big time.
What the hell?
What a dick.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
All right.
Ouch.
Any other punches? No, somebody get a lasso?
By the way, don't we have to? I'll do it. Doesn't someone have to slap Pete Alonso?
Oh my
Well,
God. What a dick.
I mean,
Come on, Bison.
He didn't do it on purpose.
He didn't?
What did he? I still don't. What was his reasoning for? In case our listeners don't
He said
know,
he wasn't thinking, and he acknowledged his mistake and said he felt terrible about it.
Yeah,
Tell
he
the
did.
story. Tell the story. Tell the story. What happened?
Who were they playing? The Cardinals.
The Cardinals.
Cardinals,
Yeah, the Cardinals. So this guy gets up to bat and gets his
Their
first
number one
major,
prospect. Yeah.
Yeah,
rookie gets his first
hit, and Alonso gets the ball, and like kind of like, what does he do? He kind of like asks somebody if they want, like, the pitcher, if he wants it or something, and he says no, and he just chucks it like 80 rows up into the stands, and I'm like, what? First of all, you never see that happen, so I don't know what.
Sure.
It was so weird. Like, who does that? Who just gets the ball and throws it? I don't know. It was a very odd moment. I mean, I guess
it was odd the way he launched it up, but he looked to someone, he gave the universal, can we get rid of this ball? They said yes, and he tossed it into the stands. Now, it was weird how far he threw it. He did apologize. Honestly, if you're going to throw a punch or a slap at somebody, I think it's better off at the person who caught it, because then they found her and they went up to her and asked her for it back, and she said no.
You be on record for punching the girl. I'm going to punch Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how's Pete Alonso supposed to know the status of every guy who comes to bat?
Well,
Nobody does it in the middle of a game. Nobody does that.
What my point was that.
No, they do. They throw balls
I don't
into
see that happen. I don't see people just at the end of a play, when they don't get a guy out at first, take the ball and just chuck it into the stands.
Right,
No,
but the reason people are upset is because the guy who got that hit was a rookie and it was his first hit. Pete Alonso is supposed to know that?
Yes. He knew who he was coming up. It's their number one prospect. He knew it.
I don't know.
It was just a very
he was very contrite.
Moment.
It was
guys,
a Mets moment.
We have a chance to punch a Met. Let's not hold back.
I know. He was very contrite after the game too about it. He felt terrible. They were like, at what point did you know you fucked up? And he was like, yeah, pretty quickly. I mean, he really was like, yeah, I got it. I figured it out pretty fast. He was like, I feel horrible over it. So
it was a slap. It wasn't a punch.
All right. So, all right, who's got a lasso? Come on. Nobody?
Bison, aren't you going to give it to something for like Little League World Series or something?
Yeah, what about last night, guys? You guys were on the Little League Classic.
Well, I could give a lasso on that. I mean, it was cool, right? I mean, it was the Phillies and the Nats, and the Nats did win the game barely at the end to take the series from the Phillies. But besides all that, no, it was very cool. It was a cool experience. I thought it was pretty interesting the way they brought the players in during the day to the games, and the players sort of sat in the stands in Williamsport, and then they went and played, and it was pretty neat the way they had players give videos for kids, right? I don't know, if anybody else, did you guys watch it? I know House was watching. So they asked certain little leaguers, who was your favorite player, right? And then they would say, Shane Bieber. And then the next
Right.
thing they would go, well, we have a video from Shane Bieber here. And Shane Bieber would be like, hey, I got a question for you, instead of the kid asking the player a question. And he was like, I want to know, Max, what kind of animal would you be if you could be any animal? And this kid was my favorite. He goes, yeah, what kind of animal? Yeah. And he's like 12, right? And he's like, I think I'd be a dog. I really like dogs. Dogs seem to have like a good life. He was like so chill. If you didn't know better, you think he was definitely from a Southern California school or team. But it was, I don't know. I just thought they did a nice job with it, with the players being engaged and talking. And Nick Castellanos, did I say that right? Is that how you say it, Castellanos?
Yeah.
He was kind of cool. They had him mic'd up and they were talking to him and they asked him who his favorite superhero was, and he justified why Scooby-Doo was a appropriate answer to be a superhero. It was just cute. The whole night was fun. It had a good vibe to it. And I think Major League Baseball, who I like to blow up, did do a really nice job with that.
Yes, credit where credit is due. They put the players showed up and watched Little Leaguers live. The Phillies were going nuts when the team from Media, Pennsylvania tied the game up at 2-2 against Rhode Island. That was fun to see. And then whatever this clever thing, which must have been in conjunction with Major League, when they were batting with baseball bats that looked like kid stuff, like Crayola crayons, or the one that looked like a Ticonderoga pencil.
Yeah.
That was
cool.
brilliant. That's
Yeah.
That was
brilliant.
cool.
That's how you bring the
that
kids
was
back
neat.
into the game.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
neat.
It was well done.
Def-
I mean, baseball's got a couple things they're doing well. I mean, that in the cornfield game, right? The Iowa game
Yeah.
is actually pretty cool. So they announced that next year's teams will be the Yankees and the Tigers at the
Oh boy.
Little League World Series game. So maybe some of those kids will be playing for the Yankees by then if they know it's good for them. Go right to the 13-year-olds.
I'm still holding out hope for Milk's son. We need some help on the mound.
Yeah. So it was cute. I praise to MLB when they get things right. So all right. Any other lasso?
Is North Dakota still in it?
Oh, I don't know. I don't
Fargo?
know. Fargo's
I don't
around.
know. Who's
Find
got a
out
buzzer
tomorrow.
beater?
I've got a couple quick ones. Number one, based on a limited sample from the preseason, I'm right now going to go on record and predict that CJ Stroud has a better NFL career than Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young is too small and not fast enough to overcome being too small. And it's just not playing well so far. Number two, we're about to witness the dismantling of the New York Yankees.
Ooh.
Starting soon, they're going to call up all of their prospects and sit all the bums who haven't been producing, like Giancarlo Stanton at all. And I think those people are all gone along with the coach. I hope they get rid of the GM, Cashman, and they build around Garrett Cole, Judge, and they have to keep Rodon after all they paid him and hope that he gets healthy, and then just keep the young guys and build something fresh, because this ain't working.
They actually paid me yesterday to go to the Yankees Rays game next weekend.
If somebody offered me free tickets right now to go to Yankee Stadium and I was staying in Manhattan, I would not go.
Wow.
God,
They're
how
horrible. They're
how
horrible.
far?
How far they've fallen.
They have
I've got a
fallen,
couple-
and it's a shame.
Couple buzzer beaters. This past week, I had the incredible opportunity to take two of my kids see Lionel Messi play at Subaru Park in Philadelphia, and I had to keep pinching myself. Number one, that he was playing in such a small, intimate stadium, but number two, that this 36-year-old soccer player continues to play at this level. He's a true field general when he's on the field. He followed up that destruction of the Philadelphia Union with an unbelievably fun, exciting, climactic win of the League's Cup. Now, this team, Inter Miami, had scored fewer goals in 17 regular season games than Messi did in the 7 games that he played for Inter Miami in this tournament. The team has not lost since he joined them. and it's his 44th professional championship trophy. And the guy he's really, it's such a pleasure to watch the greatest in his sport of all time, like at this stage of our like sporting watching life, being a spectator to watch it is unbelievable. It was a genius move for him to come over to MLS, and it was a genius move for the MLS and Apple to shovel everything that they're giving to Messi, because they're going to be raking it in. And the other one is
Wait,
a follow-up.
House, what is the League's Cup?
It was the Leagues Cup, was all of the MLS teams against all of the Mexican Liga MX teams. And I misspoke last week. The top three get an automatic entry into the CONCACAF Champions Cup, which is the CONCACAF is a soccer federation of all of the basically North American and Central American leagues that play for a tournament. And then the top two from that make the World Cup Champions League, which is the following year. But the Union and Miami and Nashville, and by coming in 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1, whatever it is, but Miami won, Nashville was second, the Union were third. They make the CONCACAF Champions League next year. It was good. It was really good TV. Very good.
But now we
investment
go
for
right
Apple.
back to regular MLS programming now, right?
Yes, and now it'll be interesting to see, does Messi take Miami to regular season victories?
Yeah.
In the league. They're in last place right now, and they've got plenty of time to do it. They're 12 points out of a playoff spot, but it'll be fun to watch that. There's follow-up on the James Harden story. The NBA is now investigating Harden and the Sixers to find out just exactly what promise was made to him. We had talked about here how Adam Silver had to step in. Well, he is stepping in. He's tired of the, Damian Lillard says, I want to go to the Heat, and Harden says, I want to go to the Clippers. Like, it's still a league where you don't get to call your own shots, and he's going to get down to the bottom of it. There's definitely going to be more to find out about this Harden episode. I resisted this for a long time, but I've come around to where Rooster has been since the beginning. He's a bad dude. He's just a bad dude in terms of chemistry. He might be a good guy with like giving the shoes to the kid in the hospital who got paralyzed and like all those kinds of things, like one-on-one with kids. But relative to a team and a locker room and a teammate, he's a bad dude.
He's a legend in his own mind. And what he's not realizing is he's not the guy who had two great dominant seasons anymore. He's kind of a role player, and he should be thankful for being on a team with someone like Embiid who can keep him being relevant.
Reggie Miller said, this is all you need to know. The guy is on a team with the reigning MVP, and he wants to leave. What more do you need to know about a guy?
Right.
Yeah.
And look, Adam Silver is too smart to let the league get to the point where contracts are meaningless. Because once that happens, all hell breaks loose and the owners are screwed. They just can't let that happen.
Yep. What else you got, House?
That's it from me.
Milk?
Just say congrats to Victor Hovland yesterday. I don't know if you guys watched it, but one of the more ridiculous back nines you'll ever see. He birdied 7 holes on the back nine to come back from, he wasn't even in contention. It was really Scheffler's tournament up until, he birdied like 4 of the last 5 holes, I think. Just an incredible 28. I haven't seen a back nine like that since Rooster and I took on Toby a few weeks ago. But
Here we go.
But an unbelievable victory. So the tour championship is this weekend. Should be a good one.
Watch your baseball call-ups. Things are going to start getting interesting with some teams. And the Nats #1 draft pick, Dylan Cruz, been elevated to AA. At this point, he hit almost 400 in single A baseball. So I think he was he was ready to get the call up to AA. So we'll see
Pretty
how he
incredible.
does. And I'm sure a lot of that stuff going around with all those teams right now.
This will not be news by the time people hear it, but it's news to all of us that the Colts are now giving disgruntled Jonathan Taylor permission to seek a trade.
Ooh, that affects fantasy.
That's a fantasy, yeah.
That
Wow.
bumps him up big time in my
Wow.
book.
We might have to have legal action to pause the draft this week.
Wow.
Oh
If
boy.
he gets traded, he's a top 5 pick.
The
Wow.
Dolphins are desperate. The
Mid-draft.
Dolphins seem desperate to get a marquee running back.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
guys. Well,
Interesting.
I look forward to seeing you all. I hope you all have shitty draft weeks though.
Yeah.
See you this week.
See you
Go
guys.
Kamara. See ya.
Yeah.
See you soon, guys.